Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and iOS 12.1.1 Developer Beta 2 came out today, and by the time you're watching this, the public beta may or may not be out. It usually comes out the same day later on or the following day or two. Now this came in at 318.9 megabytes. Let's take a look at the build number. The build is 16C5043B, and there's nothing really spectacular or new in this build. With Beta 1, we got Facetime updates, so Facetime looks a little bit different. I showed that in the previous video. And then also, I don't know if this was actually something that was with Beta 1 or not, but it's new to me. So if I go to News and we rotate to Landscape, you'll see we have a sidebar here. Now, I don't even really use this app very much, so I did pick some things here like a couple of these other news sites, but if you tap here on the side, you can get rid of that sidebar. If you tap it again, it comes back. So that's something that's a little bit new. I wasn't able to find anything other than that, really. Now, I've been mostly using my iPhone XR. I have my SIM card in here. As you can see, I have, well, just one bar of signal, but this is what I use most of the time since the OLEDs hurt my eyes, usually make my eyes more strained. And I've mentioned that in other videos, and you can take a look at those if you're interested. But as far as this particular beta goes, well, the speed test wasn't so great when I did or used Geekbench, so we'll talk about that in a moment. But scrolling and things seems okay. It did stutter a little bit when I went into here and set the wallpaper for this video, kind of stuttered, and the wallpaper will be linked in the description as I always do. And then also I went into storage. I didn't really see any changes there. It's using a lot like it always does, but that's pretty normal. Wait for it to load. If we scroll down to the bottom here, you'll see systems using 16.76 gigabytes. This can vary from device to device. Now, as far as battery life is concerned, it does take a few days to know what the battery life is like. If we go to health, it's at 100%. You'll see there's a gap there. I didn't use it that much yesterday, but I've been using it ever since, and been getting okay battery life on the previous one. But as far as going forward, it will take a few days to know what that battery life is like. So be sure to check back for a follow-up. Now, other than that, there's not a whole lot going on. Speed feels good over all the devices as far as scrolling and those things other than what I already mentioned. If we talk about games loading on older devices like the 5S, I tried to load Minecraft and it loaded, but very slow. So I don't know if there's a change there. It's a bug with this device. Let me do this just for the sake of the video. We'll load that, and we'll just let it load back here. And maybe there's something going on with this build. So also on the 6S Plus, not really anything new. Scrolling seems about the same. When I was testing this earlier, I did get a little bit of stuttering when going side to side. You'll see that's sort of coming up finely over there. If we go into something like music and scroll, it's nice and smooth for the most part. So not a whole lot of issues going on there as far as speed, but overall, the speed test through Geekbench anyway is really not good. So we'll just let this run here in the background. We'll let it create something. So I ran the speed test, or the Geekbench rather, on the XR and the XS Max. And I ran it multiple times at the beginning, then I let it sit for about an hour or so and ran it again. So let me show you. Now, if you take a look here, this is what I got the second time around. The single core score is pretty good at 4,827. The multi-core score is down almost 600 over the previous one. Now, you may not see any results from this since it's a synthetic benchmark, but if you take a look at this, it's 11,000 on the previous one, 11,232. So it's down quite a bit over the previous one. It's like I said, I ran it multiple times, and I found the same to be true on the XS Max. And you'll see that finally loaded back here. So it works. It just seems like it loaded a lot slower on the 5S. Let's unlock that again. Now the Geekbench on the XS Max, wait for it to load here. And there we go. So the history, you'll see the CPU, same thing. It's got 10,000 in the multi-core score. So whether or not you're actually going to see this is another thing. Now, if you're on a beta, I still recommend you upgrade betas, as the point of a beta is to test the software and make it better and report that feedback back to Apple so they can make their software better. It's hard to actually make software and just have a couple thousand people test it that work for Apple, as opposed to millions that are out there using it every day and have different situations on each one of their phones. So it's kind of difficult to do as a software engineer, but as far as that goes, it seems pretty good so far, but we'll have to see over the next few days. Now, of course, I'll link the wallpaper in the description below, and I'll have the new iPad video soon, since Apple released this on a day of all those things coming out. It's been a little bit busy, so I released the MacBook Air unboxing. I've also got the iPad to take a look at and something else as well. So be sure to check back for that. And if you have any other questions or something you found, let us know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.